The CS and the PS have referred to me as the chief guest. I'm stepping in the shoes of the president. So what I'll be doing is delivering his message. Of course, I'll add my own words, but I would want to make it clear. It is the president. He has requested me, because of other commitments, first of all, to let you know he is very, very appreciative of the quality service that you, as our public servants, have been delivering to the people of this country. And he told me not to forget to pass that message to you and to let you know that indeed it is you who make the difference in terms of moving this nation to our desire in terms of our Vision 2030 and even other visions that we are going to be putting in place later in the future. So let me start by appreciating the Cabinet Secretary for Public Service, Madam Professor Kombia, the Governor Oparanya. We do really appreciate the fact that you are able to join us for this function. The Principal Secretaries who have been able to attend, and I can see quite a number. The United Nations Development Program representative of the key person who would have been with us, Dr. Juma. I believe you have performed very well, and you can pass the message that we are very appreciative of what the United Nations have been doing. I have interacted with you when I used to be in Treasury, and I know the support that UNDP does give to the Kenyan government. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delivering this statement so that you can appreciate it from the President. I'm delighted to join you today as countries across the continent of Africa come together to celebrate the African Public Service Day. This is a momentous occasion in the African Union corridor, which provides a platform for public servants to come together to reflect and take stock of their achievements, exchange and share experiences, showcase innovative approaches in service delivery, and chart new ways to make the public service more efficient and citizen-centric, as well as celebrate the virtue and the value of public service. The rationale behind this day is the realization among governments of the African continent that the public service is the fulcrum of both national and continental development, and that Africa Agenda 2063, adopted by the United Nations, by our AU, of an integrated, prosperous Africa and a dynamic force in the global arena based on inclusive growth and sustainable development is premised on having innovative, well-structured, and functional public services in each of the respective African states. Today, celebrations come at a unique and challenging time when countries all over the world are emerging from the challenge that has been with us for the last 2 years and is still with us, that is COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic has brought to the fore the importance of having a strong, agile, and resilient public service. This is how we managed to respond quickly to the pandemic, develop homegrown responses, and continue with the implementation of government plans, projects, and programs. In addition, the pandemic brought about opportunities for enhancing our various e-government capabilities, rapidly building our capacities to host virtual meetings and conferences, build upon our electronic document management systems, enhance performance, transparency, and accountability through electronic service delivery mechanisms, and so forth. I am confidently I can confidently say we are building back better. And I thank all the public servants who have worked tirelessly to ensure that there was continuity of public service delivery to our citizens. I also solemnly remember all those who fell in line of duty. In line with their commitment to duty, they remained open for business while the world was shutting down. Their work and indeed their dedication and loyalty will remain engraved in our hearts. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's theme, enhancing the resilience of the African public administration to support and facilitate the realization of Africa's nutritional needs during and post-COVID-19 pandemic, derives from the experiences and lessons learned from responses to the pandemic, which has challenged public services to work better, smarter, and more innovatively. The COVID-19 pandemic taught us that self-reliance is key. I think this is very, very important for our people to note, because I can tell you many a time I usually find some of our people thinking that we have to depend on somebody else. But I think it is important to first and foremost look at it in the context of you supporting yourselves, and if there is any support elsewhere, let it be more for pushing you on the basis of what you have been able to begin yourself to do. During the lockdown months of the pandemic, communities returned to the basics. Local traditional technologies and capabilities were suddenly transformed to become the last bastions of defense against the virus. African countries learned to be resourceful and innovative. They learned the value of community and society. They learned that even as we pursue the benefits of a globalized world, the homegrown solution would always be the most sustainable solution. The public service is the anchor for the homegrown solution. That message should be very, very, very clear. It is not anybody else but the public service that will make a difference. The realization from the pandemic is that our continent's socio-economic development needs, including accelerated nutrition now and into the future, hinges on building a strong public service infrastructure supported by well-trained and competent public servants of integrity. Public servants of integrity. These officers are expected to serve and be guided by the values and principles of public service. They are required to hold the highest moral standards and put our citizens and country first. The African public administration rose to the challenge during this period. We rebuilt our health infrastructure and mobilized our public and private emergency response capabilities effectively. We reinvigorated our manufacturing sector and produced local equipment and supplies to support health responses, including vaccine development and production. Indeed, when we are on that point, there's a company based, I think, in Ramu, in terms of some of those requirements. They were able to move very quickly, and they were not just producing to meet the needs of us as Kenya, which was very surprising to us, because I think some of us may have thought we don't have that capacity, but they were producing and even supporting other countries like India and so forth. That was really very encouraging. The manufacturer is one of those, I think in one of the functions of the president, who was recognized for being able to move very quickly and respond and produce what we needed, some of these gadgets that we have to use. We opened up new sectors of the service economy and facilitated the transformation of e-services through adoption and deployment of latest technology. It therefore remains critical that the public service continues to play the anchor role now and into the future. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to ensure we safeguard these gains, it is imperative that we continue to strengthen and modernize the public service. That is why we in Kenya have sustained our interventions to transform the public service with a vision to build an efficient and highly empowered human capital with the skills and competencies necessary to respond to the demands of a highly dynamic environment and an increasingly demanding and well-informed citizenry. To actualize this vision, we prioritized a number of initiatives, a few of which are outlined as follows. First, over the last 10 years, we have continued to build the capacity of our human capital by according public servants training and development opportunities, both within and outside the country. I think this will continue to remain a very important key area which, in terms of what the School of Government was being challenged, has to rise to the challenge. And here, Madam PS, SES, I think what is important for the school is to go a step further beyond now what we may be doing at the universities. Because here you want to help people to know how they can transform the principles and ideas they have learned in the universities towards now solving the critical problems that we are facing. How do you ensure our people can be able to migrate, having already gotten the background that is very key towards that direction? Second, to further enhance the capacity and resilience of our officers, we continue to implement capacity assessment and rationalization of the public service programs with the aim of making service fit for purpose, aligning organizational structures and staffing of public institutions to their mandates. This eliminates duplication, overlaps in functions, and waste of resources at both levels of government. Third, the government has tapped into the talents of our youth by creating opportunities for them to acquire skills and enhance their employability in the labor market. In this regard, the government is implementing a robust public service internship program aimed at equipping interns with practical work experience to strengthen their capabilities for accessing employment. So far, over 12,000 fresh graduates have benefited from this program. I think when we are on this, it is important for us to appreciate. We had a function the other day, I think it was on Wednesday, where a team that has been put together by the president to do the mapping of our resources, they have done such a fantastic. And when you look at the people that were involved, it is actually our young fellows. So you can see we have the potential. One of them who spoke, it was a very young lady. We couldn't believe. If you saw her speaking, you wonder whether it is the same person or it is another person behind her, but indeed it was her. And she was quite fantastic. She demonstrated the high capability, and I can tell you the president was very moved by her comments. Fourth, the government is also implementing a public service emerging leaders fellowship program to develop the next generation of public sector leaders capable of providing transformation solutions to critical issues affecting the public service. Fifth, the establishment of the National Development Implementation and Communication Cabinet Committee at the cabinet level and the National Development Implementation Technical Committee at the principal secretary level. which have injected the much-needed energy and timelessness to the management of public resources. This structure, which embedded the whole of government approach, proved very, very useful, because by bringing people together, you are able to appreciate where you need, as one ministry, you are undertaking a project, the push by the other ministry, then it becomes much easier. I can give you an example. Hii barabara yetu Uhuru Highway, during the second term, I think it was towards the tail end of the first term of Mzee Kibaki, we made up our mind that we needed to do and ensure that road is improved all the way from the airport going all the way to Gigiri. One, because the diplomatic community living here, they were complaining, and there were some people who are pushing for even the UNEP offices to be moved out of this country. And therefore, as a government, we had to step in. And what we did as Treasurer, we realized the importance of that, road coming from the airport. But when the beginning of the construction was to be done, because there are other stakeholders, that is the KPLC and the ministry under which they fall, the city council, at that time it was a city council, we didn't have the county government, and they have their water pipelines which needs to be realigned because of the interference that was going to occur. It became a major problem, since we were not working as one. So as Treasury, we had to bring everybody in the context of this idea here together, and we were able to agree on what needs to be done by who to ensure the project is executed without any problem. It would not have been possible if we just left the ministry under which road construction is supposed to be undertaken. And hence the reason why the thinking by the President to come up with this concept was very, very useful, and it has made a difference in terms of service delivery. 6, ladies and gentlemen, is we are progressing our transformation agenda. The government continues to leverage on technology as a powerful tool and enabler of innovative service delivery. Through the use of technology, we have reaped the benefits of cost and time efficiency, enhanced revenue collection, and mitigated on corruption opportunities. Kenyans are now able to renew their driving license, register a company, receive examination results, update their National Hospital Insurance Fund status, and file their taxes from the comfort of their homes, something that would not have happened before. 7, the deployment of technology is well demonstrated in our Huduma centers. I think CS and PS, the Huduma concept, it's not that it's bringing, the idea of Huduma concept is actually to have a service being delivered in a manner where you who deserves to be served, you don't need to go to the office as such. You can just do it at home, and through that Huduma center, you are connected with other even government agencies, and therefore you don't have to waste a lot of time moving from one office to the next. So it is a very, very good concept, which I think we needed to ensure we not only maintain it, but make sure it continues to develop the way it should to help Kenyans. 8, to enhance service delivery, the government re-engineered and automated the performance management system that I'm very appreciative of what the ministry has been championing, because they have been the key agent behind this. The rollout of the online government performance contracting information system was key in mitigating against COVID-19 pandemic. 9, The system was indeed recognized as a key service delivery innovation during the 8th Continental Public Service Day, held last year in Zimbabwe, where it was gauged as one of the best innovations in citizen-centered service delivery. These are a few examples of the focus on public service transformation interventions that we anticipate to anchor our future and secure the much-needed development objectives that will build back better. Ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate this year's Africa Public Service Day, we must remember that our public service, which creates the enabling environment for other sectors of the economy in wealth creation, is the cornerstone of our national stability, prosperity, and unity. We must therefore continuously explore and implement new and better ways of working to ensure quality service delivery to the citizenry. And this is why I did appreciate the 3 institutions that were called upon here, because they are very much key pillars of what we would want to see in terms of quality service delivery by our public service. A cursory look at our demographic structure further builds the imperative for innovation and transformation. Many of our African countries have a very youthful population, below 35 years of age. In light of this, therefore, the delivery approach and types of public services will need to be responsive to this category. Public service transformation, more than ever, is a necessity, not just a fund. It is not just a fund. As we balance between a sophisticated young citizenry and limited resources, it is of fundamental importance that the public servant is innovative, prudent, and resourceful to ensure that we can meet the expectations as outlined above, without recourse to asking whose mandate it is or which agency has failed or other bureaucratic line of argument. I think when we are on this point, because here we are mentioning about limited resources, one thing that we need as part of the 4 issues that were raised is the whole question of good governance. I know we have mentioned that indeed with the innovations and adopting technology, that has helped to minimize, but for sure we still have challenges. And for that reason, one should always ask himself, because there is no nation in the world, even those that we borrow from them or they give us grants, it is not that they have unlimited resources. The resources will never be in line with exactly your wish, what you want to do. You'll find your wishes will be far much more than the resources you can put. But what is important is better use of those resources. And that underscores the whole question of removing people who are more driven by our own selfish needs. Yes, you need to have a car, yes. You need to have, what else we think is better for life. But we have to ask ourselves, do I have it by way of misdirecting public resources? No, that is not the way. And I always see as give the example of a small country called Singapore. Singapore, if you compare with the rest of us within the continent of Africa, what resources do they have? Yet, being such a small country, but because of adopting good governance, and good governance not just in terms of the fight against corruption, cohesion, because that is still part of governance, where they don't call each other by the kind of way we describe ourselves, and which I think, I want to give you that as a challenge. As public service, we have to move out of those descriptions we make of each other, because that is what destroys. The reason why Singapore is where it is is because of adopting good governance. They don't call each other by some labels. They say we are nothing but Singaporeans. We also as Kenyans should accept we are nothing but Kenyans. This morning I was having a discussion and I was told a case which made me feel very bad of a school being denied to have a borehole. They are now struggling. It's a national girls' secular school, but they can't, have water because they are in the areas where you need other support, boreholes and so forth. But they are denied because the leadership comes from another community. So they say the school is based in an area which is occupied by a different community. But these are Kenyans. They are Kenyans. They are the ones who are paying their parents, the taxes. How would I wake up and say, I'm denying my dear sister here a service? For what reason? So we need to wake up, and as part of public service, we should be the one to set a good example and say, I'm there to serve each and every Kenyan. And me, I will not want to know if somebody to tell me you come from this part of the country. All that I want to know is you are a Kenyan. And as a Kenyan, you deserve the service that as a government we are supposed to deliver. That is what has made that small country be able to compete with in terms of their income per capita. They are at the same level with the United States. And the United States is an elephant. This is just like a drop. Yet, income per capita, which I argue, if they had the same resources, they were as big as, where would they be? They would be a multiple of what one may not be able to imagine. So every public servant must be accountable for service delivery at a personal level while observing the values of integrity, ethical conduct, and high performance culture. We must remember that the opportunity to service is a unique privilege bestowed on us by the citizen. We must therefore always put the citizen first and treat them and their resources with honesty, honor, and dignity. I think, Governor, when you are able to meet with your colleagues, let them also know that, because in most cases I hear them complaining, saying resources, we will never have enough, but we will be able to make a difference if they can help us also to ensure they're managing those resources in line with what would be expected by the Kenyan people. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have no doubt that our public service has capabilities and capacities to continue driving our nations to greater heights of prosperity. Notwithstanding the disruptions that have been occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic, our resilient service has stood the test of time. Today, I wish to pay a well-deserved tribute to those who have been and those who are still a part of this elite service. Men and women of proven loyalty, dedication, discipline, and a deep vocation for service. Those who, through their work and sacrifice, have defended our nation's pursuits and aspirations as contained in the words of our national anthem. To all of you, accept my greatest recognition and admiration. Finally, let me congratulate all the winning institutions and public servants who have been recognized and awarded for innovative service delivery. We would want all the institutions to feel challenged by what they will say today, to say tomorrow it will be me. That will help each and every of our institutions to be at the same level in terms of service delivery. And once again, echoing those words of the President, to congratulate you and to tell you that the President would have loved to be with you. You know, next door there is a function where he's supposed to be. That is why he couldn't join you. But he does appreciate you. My last word is stew on the question of good governance. Good governance. Please, as you walk from this room, let us commit ourselves that ours is to protect the public sources. Ours is to make sure we do not have those kind of stories like that school where they are being denied a service delivery just because they happen to be located in an area which the community that is occupying there is different from the community of the leadership. That is terrible, and that should never happen in a modern Kenya. Asanteni sana.